I'm mentioning this because Creature Commandos came out a couple weeks ago now. And this is the first like official James Gunn has taken over DC Studios. It's his vision, it's his writing, it's what he wants to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of things that I would enjoy. I like the brighter color scheme. I don't mess with the Batman v Superman, Man of Steel. God, I don't like that whole tone. I know that I'm in the majority when it comes to that, but I hate that tone. So the more colorful, bright, and carefree kind of atmosphere. And James Gunn can also nail the emotional aspects. Even in Peacemaker, I was crying over a fucking eagle. James Gunn can get you in those places, but there are some things. And do you care if I spoil Creature Commandos?
Go for it.
There are some things that just don't make a lick of fucking sense. And there are some things where characters die and you're like, you're just killing characters to kill characters. There's nothing. And for the people that are going to say, well, that's more realistic. People can die at any time. It's a story! It's a story full of characters that will never exist on this earth. Well, it's got to be realistic. You are a 5-year-old child.
I think that brings back to the conversation last week where we talked about the red one being realistic or trying to be realistic.
That the Batman being grounded, we've had a couple of conversations about it, but the scenes in particular for people who might listen to this and have seen Creature Commando, GI Robot, and I'm gonna say he's my favorite character in the show, and people who have seen the show probably take this as sour grapes. I don't give a fuck. If you want to dismiss it as that and be a little cocksucking fanboy, I don't give a shit. GI Robot gets a whole episode dedicated to his backstory. GI Robot was a robot built in the 40s for World War II. The only purpose of him was killing Nazis. Okay, a little bit of Lieutenant Aldo Rain. I know you don't get that reference. But he gets this whole backstory about how he was in the military, then he didn't really, like, he was just tossed around laboratories and war monuments and whatever after the war. Before this like this dude with this massive World War II collection just sits down with his cats every day watching World War II movies, buys him, takes him to a Nazi rally. I'll get into that in a second. And he kills everybody there. Because again, robot built for killing Nazis.
All right.
But he's so lovable. He's so funny. And as he's getting this backstory, they kill him. Why? Why did you do that? I get like the character of a robot that the only purpose he has is killing Nazis and there's nothing outside of that, even though you hinted at him being possible AI, even if you didn't want to do that, he'd be a perfect little bat character. Why? It's just lame. Like, that's not even, and I know it's supposed to be shocking. It's just lame.
There is an anime that I remember where the whole premise was all of the characters just keep dying. Like everybody, I remember it's Attack on Titan. Like the moment you start to get attached to a character, they sort of kill them off. I feel like they're taking that sort of stance there, that theme.
See, I don't care if characters die. I really don't. But when it feels like you're just killing characters to be like, haha, I can kill a character, it's lame. And by the way, the reason he's in prison makes no fucking sense. You're telling me that this dude does nothing but study World War II, sits around watching World War II movies, has a whole room dedicated to World War II memorabilia, doesn't know that this robot that was a massive deal in the 40s and 50s was built to kill Nazis. He buys it, brings it to a Nazi rally. You're telling me to fucking... What?
Okay,
huh?
When you talked about the guy... Was he in favor of the Nazis?
Yes.
The guy that bought the robot?
Yes.
All right, never mind then.
He brings him, so they get in a truck, they drive down the road, And G.I. Robot goes, "Where are we going, sir?" He says, just a meeting with the boys, you know. He gets there. The guy introduces G.I. Robot, and someone says, "It's good to have an iron fist for the cause." And you see a bunch of tattoos on people's necks. And it's all white dudes, some of them bald. And you're like, what cause are we talking about? And then curtain opens up behind the speaker, and it's the Nazi flag. And he says, "Welcome to the National Socialist Convention." And G.I. Robot stands up, points his gun at the guy who brought him, and says, "Go to hell, Nazi scum." The guy's like, "Well, my God!" And he kills everybody in there. Again, you are supposed to believe that this guy who studies World War II didn't fucking know that. What are we talking about?
Okay, what are the chances that the robot wasn't used and was just going lab to lab? Unless that was within the backstory that I don't know of.
Well, if you know, if you picture yourself in this universe, okay, obsessed with World War II, and you hear about this robot that killed thousands of Nazi soldiers, not only killed thousands of Nazi soldiers, went on TV, had appearances where he would scan the crowd and tell, "I'm looking for Nazis." Like he was, he was on this TV show and he was scanning the crowd, and the guy was like, "Do you see anything, G.I. Robot?" And he's like, "Have you checked these people identification cards?" He's like, "No, why would we do that?" "Well, to identify any Nazis." The guy goes, "No, we would never do that." And G.I. just slowly looks at him and says, "That's something a Nazi would say." And you're like, oh shit, is this how he went to prison? He murdered a bunch of TV live studio audience?
Why? Okay, I one last question. Why was he in prison? Or who was in prison? Was it the robot?
G.I. Robot was in prison because he killed everybody at that Nazi rally. Just killed them.
They should have just free robot.
Free GI. Absolutely. But